Hi, it's Nell. It's Saturday. I'm doing some projects around the house and I'm about to repot my Hoya, my poor Hoya. That is sort of a flippy-flopping all over the place. I call this my Topiary Hoya, and I thought that you might want to be in on the project too. Now this Hoya has been in this pot since 2015, and as you can see, it's a very small pot. It's a bowl, so it's doing great, but it's also starting to trail, and I want to be able to enjoy that. So we're going to head over to the side patio because I have a new pot for it that's a tall pot, so I can't do it at my potting table. And I'm going to show you the special blend I use for Hoyas, a special planting mix, and why. And also you'll see the pot it's going into, and how I'm going to extend these bamboo hoops. I'm not quite sure. I didn't want to get new ones. I don't want them any taller, so I'm just going to stabilize these out. So come on over, let's start the project. Okay, so here is the pot. And the pot was a sort of ugly, sandy, beigey color. And then I painted it. Sprayed it, of course, because you know me, I'm always spraying something. And it's nice because it's a nice light weight, because there's going to be a lot of soil in here. But first of all, I'm going to show you what I did to reduce the volume of soil I'm going to have to use, because the soil is going to start about right up here. Because I don't want the pot to be too heavy, because I might have to move it into the garage in December and January like I did this year, because this lives here. It's now March 5th, gorgeous. And I brought it out right around the first week of February. And here is my filler. It's about probably about 10 flattened cans. And then there's a plastic bottle, jar, whatever in there. And it's not perfectly even, but I don't care because I just want it to take up some space. And now I'm going to put some newspaper over it to just sort of create a screen. I feel really bad for this Hoya because I love it. I got it in a 4-inch pot at Rogers Gardens in Newport Beach, and then I put it into a bigger terracotta pot, and now it's in this low bowl, so it's going to really be able to spread its roots out when it gets into here. But I don't want it to get any taller, so this is what I'm doing to solve that. And now it gives it plenty of room to trail down, because the pot I think is about 30 inches tall, so it's a nice nice height. So I'm going to have some beautiful trails coming down too. And most Hoyas are epiphytic, like orchids, bromeliads, all that. But they do like a really nice rich soil too. It needs to drain really well, but it needs to be rich. So in here I have a brick of cocoa coir soaking. I'm also going to use this when I air layer my ficus, my rubber tree, my ficus Alaska, so I'll show you that. In there, that's my favorite amendment, worm compost. And then this is a local organic compost. Everything I use is organic, by the way. It's Tank's compost. This is Happy Frog potting soil. And then over here I have succulent and cactus mix. So I'm going to do a mixture of these. It's mainly going to be the succulent mix and the potting soil, but I'm going to mix in that amount of the compost there. I might put a little bit more of the compost, but no more of the worm compost. That's enough. And then I'm going to put a few handfuls of the cocoa coir. The cocoa coir is a more environmentally sound substitute for peat moss. It really holds a lot of nutrients. It's also going to help to hold the moisture a bit, which I want here in the desert. I want it to drain well, but I want it to hold the nutrients and at least the moisture for maybe like 2 days. I'm going to put in a good amount of the potting soil, of this beautiful potting soil. This new pot actually is going to be used for transplanting some of my sansevierias into here. I have a few of them. I'm going to do a planting of it. Okay, so we got that. So now I'm going to put in some of the succulent mix. There we go. Oh, I'm just going to dump it all in here. Why be? I have another bag of this, which I might need. And I like the succulent mix because it gives that really good drainage. Okay. A few handfuls of the cocoa coir. This comes in a brick, and you just soak it in water, and it just kind of all dissolves, and it becomes this wonderful, rich amendment you can use. And now some of the compost. The worm castings I usually put toward the top, and some more of the potting soil. As you can see, this pot holds quite a lot. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in and I'm going to stir this up. Well, I went to the garage to get some more potting soil and succulent mix, and I realized that I didn't bring the orchid mix because I want to put orchid mix in there too. So now I'm going to take out a little bit of what I have in there, and I'm going to add a good amount of this orchid mix. My goodness, I thought I was forgetting something. I normally do my repotting at my bench, either in or by my garage, and I'm over here on my side patio, so it's like all these things to bring over. So I'm going to go ahead and put in some of that mix I took out. And what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try to get it to the level of about where the Hoya would go, where the root ball would go in here, because I'm going to need to get the stakes in here and anchored around where the hoops are. So that's the part that's going to take a little bit of figuring out. Okay, so I went and got my apron on for this one. We design and manufacture these aprons and we sell them, so I will leave the link to it down below. It's a great work apron. Just a little plug. So I have loosened this bowl. I've loosened the root ball from the bowl, and this could be a total disaster. It's probably something I should be doing with someone, but I just wanted to get it done. So I'm going to see how easily this is going to come out. It could be a total flop. I'm not quite sure. Okay, so now you can kind of see what I'm aiming for. It hasn't been anchored in at all. I'm going to raise up the soil a little bit because it's sinking down, but I can do that just by putting handfuls underneath the root ball, so that's not going to be a problem. And then I'm going to put a few of those stakes in to anchor the hoops. What I'm doing with these stakes is I'm just going to anchor these up a little more. I want to have more stabilization, so I'm going to cut it right about there. Ooh, easier said than done. Well, we'll see here. There we go. Just gonna show you. Then I'll go in and refine it. So I'm going to push that all the way down next to this stake, and I will tie them together. And then that's just going to give that stake some extra stabilization. Because it can get windy here, you know, the weather, it's much taller now, so it could rock a little bit. And after doing all this, I want my Hoya to be. So I have my stake stabilizers in, and I have a couple of them tied already. You can see they're right here. And that's just going to give it some nice support, because these hoops are, as I said, about 2 years old or so. So they were starting to wear a little bit, but I didn't want to get new hoops because to take this all off and do it. So it's not like 100% even, but that's okay, because I didn't want to push it too far because they're kind of brittle too. So looking good so far. I'm just going to go ahead and put some more compost around the top, worm compost, and then I'm going to put potting soil on the top. Oh, and by the way, I have done a blog post on how to take care of Hoyas. They make great houseplants, even though mine grows outside. They're wonderful, interesting. I love them. A few of the leaves broke off, and Hoyas are very easy to propagate from either stem cuttings or from leaf cuttings. But with the leaf cuttings, you need to get the petiole too. So if anybody wants a video on how to propagate Hoyas, let me know. Otherwise, I won't do it. Okay, on to getting some more of the good stuff in here. Okay, cleaned up so you can see it a little bit better now. And I'm going to water it in thoroughly. It'll probably take a couple times to really soak in through. And then in a few weeks, the soil will probably start to go down on the top, the compost and the mix. So I'll just replenish with a little bit of compost so it's nice and topped off for the summertime, because as I said, it's only early March, so Hoyas love the warm weather. So this is really going to take off and grow and do a lot better in this pot. And as you can see, it has some trails, and I'm going to encourage even more. There's some in the back. But what's really nice about this is my living room here, and you can see through from the dining room and the kitchen, so I will be able to see this beautiful plant when I'm inside and outside too. And I have a couple more larger plants I want to repot. One of them is my three-headed ponytail palm, and those pencil cactus cuttings, which I just did last summer, which have grown like crazy. So after I get those done, I'm going to give you a tour of my patio, because I have almost all the plants on it now that are going to accent it, and I have the patio furniture, so I want you to see that. Be sure to check out the blog post that goes along with this, and also the blog post on Hoya care. They will be, the links will be down below. I'll probably leave you the video link because you are watching the video, but there's a blog post too. And as always, I thank you for watching. I thank you for all your likes, your comments, and your subscribes. I hope you have enjoyed this little project. It wasn't easy, but it wasn't that hard either. You know, it was just a lot of, you know, sort of finagling things and dragging things over here so I could film for you. So I hope you enjoyed it. And I have a lot more videos coming your way, and I'll see you soon. Bye.